Well, all right, welcome back. Episode 2 of Take 2 special Super Bowl edition after the lowest scoring and probably objectively most boring Super Bowl in the history of professional football. Patriots beat Rams 13-3. Jared Goff and Sean McVay's offense totally shut down in the game. Tom Brady gets his record-setting 6th Super Bowl ring. So first thing let's do. You got 3 words to describe the game.
Not so super. That's what I would use to describe it, because I've never been more bored watching football, ever.
Yeah. Well, I'd say I'll go back to what I said last week. Wrong 2 teams.
Yeah.
Those are my 3 words. Sitting through this in the third quarter where Tony Romo is excited and screaming at the top of his lungs that Johnny Hecker broke the longest punt in Super Bowl history.
That was so
record,
funny.
and I'm just thinking, like, can you imagine if we had Patrick Mahomes and Drew Brees going toe-to-toe with their 2 high-powered offenses, Tyreek Hill, Michael Thomas, Alvin Kamara, like, how much better
It'd be
that would have
3-3 in
been.
the first 3 minutes.
Yeah, if the officiating hadn't been so bad on championship weekend. And, I mean, as I look at the stats of this game, I mean, you know, the Super Bowl MVP, Julian Edelman, that's one of the more Patriots things in history.
Yep.
As a player who was suspended the first 4 games of the season for performance-enhancing drugs, wins Super Bowl MVP the same year because, well, that's a New England thing. But anyway, you look at this game, and Sean McVay was supposed to be, you know, offensive genius, the future of the NFL, and he was totally and completely shut down by Bill Belichick on the Patriots defense. So you really do have to give credit to New England there. They played a fantastic defensive football game. And you combine that with just how horrible Todd Gurley and Jared Goff were. And that's the recipe you get, is a boring game. But I will point out, the Rams averaged 33 points a game in the regular season, and they scored 3. Like,
They could have scored 6.
Yeah.
They could have scored 6, but
it's an anomaly, but that's how the game turned out.
I thought that was hilarious because of that amazing kick against the Saints.
Yeah, Jared Goff, 230 yards, 1 interception. Todd Gurley leading rusher for the Rams with 35 yards.
And they were running the ball a lot in the first quarter, and they weren't getting anything.
You can't win games like that. 1 touchdown in the entire game, a 2-yard run from Sony Michel. So just objectively, no matter who you support, whether you're Patriots fans or not, that was not a good game to watch, because while both teams did play good defense, it wasn't like a defensive masterclass where you could sit back and be like, wow, that's like great defense. It was just like a lot of mistakes, a lot of poor offensive play calling.
Especially from Jared Goff.
Yeah, and the Patriots and the Rams and Sean McVay. They did not. Sean McVay didn't coach a good game. Jared Goff didn't play a good game
at all.
So I guess the situation shifts now. Is like most people would consensusly say that it's pretty much inarguable. Tom Brady's the greatest of all time. So where do you stand on that?
There's not much of really an argument against it, I believe. I think that he probably is, especially if we're going to count longevity, because he's been in the league for so long and he's dominated for so long. Doesn't mean I have to like him, but he has a talent. But I do believe there would not be a Tom Brady without a Bill Belichick.
Oh yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there. Belichick, I think, deserved a lot of the credit that Brady gets should go to Belichick, and here's why. Is when you watch Tom Brady play, you just got to watch the eye test on Tom Brady. He doesn't make a lot of impressive throws. He really doesn't. And he doesn't, you don't see him.
You don't see no Aaron Rodgers.
You don't see him throwing the ball downfield into double coverage. He just 6-yard hitch route, 5-yard drag.
Guy's
wide open on every play. He's a scheme quarterback. And any quarterback in the NFL could make the throws that Tom Brady made last night. Now, does Tom Brady still have a good arm? Does Tom Brady still make great decisions?
And is he probably the greatest quarterback ever? Probably. But
here's the thing I was saying with Brady. I think the most impressive thing to me about Tom Brady is his decision making is really, really good.
Yes.
He does not make bad throws. He does not make risky throws. But he doesn't make impressive throws either, like I was talking about, just short little dink and dunk plays. That's what the Patriots have built themselves on in 18 years, and it's worked. So I think a lot of the credit that Tom Brady gets should go to Bill Belichick and Josh McDaniels, because what they've been able to do with that offensive scheme in New England, with not a lot of good playmakers, that they've just made it easy for Tom Brady. Like, he has an easy job. He sits in the pocket for a second, maybe 2 seconds, and just dinks and dunks to wide open wide receivers. Doesn't mean I'm trying to say that Brady isn't an all-time great. I think it's hard to make a case for anyone else. Like, I will tell you right now, Peyton Manning was a more intelligent quarterback. There's a whole slew of guys who are more talented.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious. Steve McNair was more talented than Tom Brady.
Yeah.
But you can't argue with that level of success.
Right.
But I do think that I would like to point this out, is that the fact that the 18 years of the Patriots dynasty could have been so different if 7 plays had gone differently. Let's say Vinatieri misses his kicks in those 2 Super Bowls. Matt Ryan doesn't take a sack, and the Seahawks run the ball with Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah.
In all likelihood, the Patriots then Tom Brady then goes from 6-3 in Super Bowls to 2-7. So
It's a lot different.
Yeah, that's a lot different. And then suddenly, nobody's talking about, and people aren't be talking about Tom Brady as the all-time greatest quarterback, but they'll be talking about him like they talked about those Bills teams in the, I believe it was late 80s or maybe it was early 90s.
I think it was early 90s.
Who went to 4 straight Super Bowls and lost all of them.
Yeah, that was
But
right, exactly.
the flip side of that, for New England fans, is what if Eli Manning doesn't complete 2 miracle passes and the Eagles don't get that strip sack? He could easily be 9-0 in Super Bowls. So it's crazy that while the Patriots, I mean, you can't argue with 17 out of 18 years winning their division. You can't argue with their winning percentage over those years. And the one year where Tom Brady did get hurt, and this is one thing in Tom Brady's favor, Sam Cassell, the backup, the team missed the playoffs.
Right.
So the one year they were without Brady, they struggled. But, I mean, there's been some light. And then you could think maybe they don't get that crazy asinine pass interference call in the AFC Championship game. They might not have even gone to this game.
Yeah, but there's no way to really prove that to anybody.
Yeah.
That's the problem with it.
I mean, you look at the Patriots, and if just a couple things had happened differently, the history would be totally different. But the fact of the matter is, I guess you can argue shoulda, woulda, coulda all you want. But what happened. Brady's 6-3 in Super Bowls, and I mean, he's got 2 more than Joe Montana with 4. Now, Joe Montana did go undefeated in Super Bowls.
Yeah.
And that dynasty was great, but it's gotten to the point where you can't really argue with the results. And I don't like the guy. I don't like the Patriots. I believe the Patriots have a collection of some of the most unlikable players and coaches in sports.
And I think that is undisputed, really. I don't know many people who actually like Edelman.
I mean, just objectively, Bill Belichick's incredibly rude, is incredibly mean. He derives pleasure from just being a jerk to people, similar to the way a lot of great coaches are like that. You think about basketball with Greg Popovich.
Greg Popovich, he's a jerk to reporters, but I personally still love Greg Popovich.
Yeah, but he's a great coach. I mean, Tom Brady, not a very likable guy. He's very cocky, very smug, and I mean, you could say he's earned it because he's really good.
Yeah.
Gronk is a party boy who
Big time.
was gifted with the perfect football talents. Not to say they haven't earned it, but when Patriots fans just fall into their cover up their ears and say, "Oh, you just hate us because you ain't us." No, it's not. I mean, yes, when you win all the time, people are gonna hate you.
The Golden State Warriors.
Yeah. But see, now here's the thing I would say about the Warriors. It's interesting because the Patriots dynasty is bad for football, I think, and. I'm not somebody, you and I would have a disagreement on dynasties in general. I don't believe dynasties are always bad for sports. I don't believe the current Warriors team is bad for sports, but here's the difference. The current Warriors are fun to watch. I mean, watching Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, Kevin Durant run and gun and knock down threes and drive their high-powered offense, that's at least fun to watch. This Patriots team is not fun to watch. I mean, it's just...
I agree, but my argument is I think what's better for sports is competition.
Yeah, and that's...
It's because, you look at the 2000... God, I think it was 7 NBA Finals. The Cavs versus the Spurs. That is one of the lowest rated finals ever. Why? Because the Spurs dominated the Cavs.
Yeah.
They dominated them. There's nothing the Cavs could do. And it was just such a blowout. That's my problem, is I think competition is really what drives a league. And I think that's why I think in the long run this Warriors dynasty, well, right now it's definitely doing good things for the NBA. I don't think in the long term it's going to be a good thing for them.
Yeah, and that's a topic we can discuss, later when we're more into just basketball season. But I really think that New England, this dynasty, I mean, it's a turnoff for people. They see this, and when you have likable characters in your dynasty, then more people are inclined to watch. But there's just nobody likable on New England unless you're a Patriots fan.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't have a bunch of players who you look at and you listen to them talk, and you're like, I like that guy, because they're good, they know they're good, and they talk like they're good. So it's just a turnoff for people. So yes, I do believe this Patriots dynasty is bad for sports because their characters, their players aren't likable, and their style of football isn't fun to watch.
Yeah.
So I think that's just my final thoughts on this. Is it's remarkable they've done what they've done. It's an incredible accomplishment. 6 Super Bowls for Tom Brady, 6 record-tying 6 Super Bowls for New England, and it's an incredible dynasty, one of the greatest in sports history. But
yeah,
the NFL needs change. The NFL needs a new team, and I think they're going to have it when you look at the up-and-coming quarterbacks. Jared Goff's a great player who had a bad game.
I agree.
Patrick Mahomes is an incredible player. You look at the other young quarterbacks, Carson Wentz, Deshaun Watson. It just,
and you could even say
Baker Mayfield. I mean, it just on and on. And then you look at people coming out, Kyler Murray coming up in the draft, and in a few years you'll have Tua Tagovailoa and Trevor Lawrence. There are great quarterbacks and great players who are already playing in this league and will be playing in this league soon.
This year there were a ton of good quarterbacks, like Andrew Luck.
Yeah, I mean, Andrew Luck is still there. So I think the dynasty will come to an end eventually. I actually think it's going to be postponed for a while, but I think it's not because the Patriots are going to fall off and become bad, because even after Tom Brady retires, I mean, their system, they'll find another guy who fits that system and put him in there, but I think the competition will get better and rise up to be able to beat them. So I think that's what we'll close with. That's our Super Bowl edition for Take 2. We'll see you guys next week.